How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone's day's been going well. The Cincinnati Reds enter the 2021 season in quite the interesting dilemma. There's major question marks at the shortstop position, and they still have what I believe is 4 everyday starters in the outfield with no DH in the NL this season as well. So we're going to do our best to try to project a Reds starting lineup here today. Starting off at leadoff, we have Nick Senzel. Senzel undoubtedly underperformed in that limited action he did have in last season. And if we went off of just last season alone, he'd be the 4th man out in this outfield group and he wouldn't be playing right now. But we have to keep in mind a couple of things with Nick Senzel. First of all, 2nd overall pick, highly touted guy coming up through the works, and you expect him to continue to grow and improve. He is still young, and you want this guy to be a centerpiece of your team for years to come. You're going to play him. You're going to try to make it work. Secondly, we're learning a lot about COVID on athletes and people in general. Some people it doesn't affect hardly at all. Other people have a tough time with it. We're hearing a lot of people having tough times from an athlete's standpoint, a tough time regarding fatigue, stamina, recovering. And you wonder how much that may have affected Nick Senzel last year, who was all but reported, they didn't really confirm it, but they, confirmed it, quote unquote, that he did have the virus last year during the season. You wonder how much that may have affected his play. Fresh season this year. We'll see if he can bounce back. Number 2, batting second, we have first baseman Joey Votto. I know we've seen some jostling around in that lineup last season a bit with Joey Votto, but at 37, he's this team's best on-base player, no question about it. And you got to put him in a position to get on base in front of these big bats in a lineup, and I think Votto slides back into that 2 hole. Batting third, Eugenio Suarez. This is going to be an interesting slot, as I think it could go down to him or Nick, both of which did not have the greatest seasons last season. But Suarez, a little bit more selective at the plate, has been a guy that for this team for years now has been the man that drives in the runs for the Cincinnati Reds. I think he starts this season here, and we'll go from there. Batting fourth then, Nick Castellanos. With Suarez at 3, that'll slide Nick down to 4 in the lineup, but still batting cleanup, not a bad spot for this man as well. We'll keep him there at 4. Batting fifth, Mike Moustakas. I think this, again, easy slot for Moose here. You get the guys like Moustakas that are your power guys that can bat anywhere from 230 to 260. You slide him in that power role, if you will, at that 5 spot in the order. I think Moustakas slides in there pretty quickly. Batting 6, Jesse Winker. This is the wild card right here. I really have, and I always will be, a big believer in Shogo. But Bell's kind of thrown him in the outs, or he's kind of been on the outs from Bell's standpoint here since he's gotten here. Even when he was the hottest hitter on the team, look what we did with him in playoffs. And hey, all things considered, Winker did lead this team in hitting last season, batting .255 with that .388 on-base percentage. I still think this could come down to how'd your spring training go for this position? We'll see, though. Batting 7th is D. Strange Gordon. I think the Reds want to avoid using Garcia here. They want to give him that extra year down in the minors, understandably so. So I think this will turn into a Gordon versus Farmer matchup. Farmer, who's still getting reps at the position, may very well trickle in throughout the season, and maybe even quite frequently, depending on how D. Gordon plays here. But Gordon, a few years ago, let's not forget, this was a very good hitter who was batting, or has a batting title to his name, we should say here, who to this day holds a career .286 batting average. Health's been an issue these past 2 seasons for him. But D's come out and he said, hey, I felt the healthiest this year that I have in years. And if he come to Cincinnati and turn things around and play like the D. Gordon we've seen in years past, this could turn out to be a very good signing for the Cincinnati Reds at a very friendly contract value as well. Batting 8th, we're going to put Tucker Barnhart, another position where the Reds clock is essentially ticking here, if you will. When does Stevenson start, and when does he get to play more? He's pretty well expected to take those reins, right? But when? Right now, I expect the Reds to go out and say, Tucker, it's still your job right now. Best defensive catcher in the league, not a big deal. Tucker Barnhart batting 8th. Obviously 9th, you got the pitcher. That's our thoughts. Cincinnati Reds 2021 lineup. Love to hear your guys' as always. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.